Pacers go up 2-0 in the series over the Knicks. Welcome into Playoff Central Live, presented by State Farm. I'm Ashley Shamedy alongside 3D. We got Isaiah Thomas. You're in a really good mood.
Remember before the game, you had to get him hyped?
Yeah.
Well, every time I get a good game, it gets me hyped because both teams competed. They were going at one another. The stars stepped up. Halliburton didn't shoot the ball particularly well. Big body Brunson stepped up. But once again, Indiana's Pacers bench and their tempo and controlling things at the end of the game was just brilliant tonight.
17 lead changes, 17 times this game was tied. It was definitely a back and forth affair. And towards the end there, when you just think that the Pacers are kind of moving away from it.
The done, Zeke, by taking that long three.
Yeah, and in that situation, had you taken a timeout, you give a guy like Brunson a little time to rest, right? Because, you know, defensively, the game's going back and forth, right? You're exerting a lot of energy. You got one timeout left. You take that, advance the ball, but what that does is it gives your star player, and I've been in that position a lot, it gives him a chance to settle down, get his thought process, know what's getting ready to happen to him, and then you come out and you make a shot. And what people don't understand, like in these type of tense situations, right, defense is played at a very hectic pace, right? It's like, but then on the offensive side, you slow down, right? So it's bop, bop,
rhythm and flow, rhythm and flow.
And so when you've made a good defensive stop, pressure situation like this, it's important that the coach understands that, hey, let me calm my main guy down, because on the defensive side, he's like this. Now you advance the ball, you give him a little water, he gets set, or some Vita Coco, right? You know, and then you're ready, right? Then you're ready to go. And now he comes out, and we know Brunson is like a shot maker, like big-time shot maker. And what that does is now if you're defending a guy like Brunson, he goes to the bench. You as a defender, you like, what are they getting ready to run? How many screens I got to chase off of? And don't foul. So as a defender, you nervous because now the psychological game to set in. I got the defender over there worried. I got the ball. I know my plays. I know the options off my plays, but the defender is over there guessing. That's what a timeout does.
Okay. And I mean, before we got to the final 2 minutes of this game, let's just talk about what the Knicks were doing early on. You could tell the starters were a little bit probably nervous, obviously coming into their fan base with that environment and, you know, wanting to prove that they can come back, they can tie up this series. Then you have a guy like Mitchell Robinson come in off the bench, which we know Tom Thibodeau doesn't love to play his bench players. But Mitchell Robinson played 29 minutes, only had those 6 points, but man, did he bring that calmness. He settled them down a bit in the first half, brought the energy. He was able to really help keep them in the game whenever the Pacers went on a little bit of a run. 4
huge offensive rebounds. They have him down for 3 blocks. They have him down for 0 steals, but I know there has to be a steal in there. I wish on the stat sheet, and Zeke, you know, as being a coach, coaches love the deflections. I know he had to have at least 10 or 15 deflections throughout this ball game because you keep the ball alive, you give your team extra possession, and it gives you energy. And Brunson's on the bench a lot of times when he was getting those offensive rebounds to keep the team going. So you got to get a lot of love to Money Mitch tonight.
And I thought what he did in that first quarter, as we referenced and we talked about, it was going to be difficult to win the trust back of the fan base. And New York came out and they wasn't shooting the ball well. Now, how do you win that fan base back? Through hustle, energy, and effort. And so that positive energy that he brought in, right, it wasn't about him scoring. It was about him, okay, I'm trying hard, I'm giving my all. The fans saw that, they bought in, and now you get a shot or two. Now you make a couple of shots. But, you know, I thought he changed the energy of the first half, which made it a close first half. If Robinson doesn't come in that first quarter and do it, it could have got ugly because I thought his positive energy affected the whole first half.
And Karl Anthony Towns didn't come back into the game until under that basically 3-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Did you agree with that move to keep Mitchell Robinson in, keep Cat off?
Well, I think sometimes you got to mix it up. I thought maybe throwing both in there together when they had, you know, Siakam in there, put a little pressure on Robinson, move your feet. You've been doing a good job all series long. When they switched the 1-5 pick and roll, why not try to play them together? So now Cat's making shots early, Brunson's on the bench getting some rest. I'm like, this is do or die game at home. You don't want to go down 0-2. Mix the energy with the guy who can make shots. Because when you take Cat off the floor, now you're taking away a guy who can get you 20 or 30 a night. But you got this other guy that's giving you all the effort, all the energy, all the extra possessions. Sometimes you got to put him in the game at the same time.
And then you have a Pacers team who plays 6 guys off the bench.
Oof.
And we were talking about this, you guys, during the game, just how much each one of these guys affected the game. I mean, Tony Bradley, Ben Shepherd. We talked about Ben Shepherd in the first game as well. But just the way that this team is able to insert these players and they're able to make some sort of impact obviously shows how much it works for Indiana.
Well, what Coach Carlisle understands is, okay, in physical basketball, like Robinson brings to the game, right? It's not about the skill of the player, but it's about the weight that player has. So now, not only is he matching skill versus skill, but then Carlisle said, I need to match body type versus body type. So weight versus weight. Now we can neutralize Robinson on the board, who has 20, 30 pounds on Siakam, who may be trying to block him out. But somebody else, he's got weight, he's got energy, and then he's got fouls to give. So neither one of them are great offensive players, right? So it's like, okay, it's neutral, right? My guy ain't gonna score, your guy ain't gonna score. Now we just gonna we're gonna fight for the rebound, we're gonna hit each other, so forth and so on. But now it's 4-on-4. But now what we've done is we've neutralized Robinson and made him have to battle and fight with somebody of his size and of his weight, and now it becomes a 4-on-4 contest instead of a 5-on-5.
And let's talk about Pascal Siakam, the star of the show. Just from the beginning, he brought everything and more. 39 points for him when Tyrese Haliburton had 0. He was 1 for 7 in the first half. I mean, this Pacers team, we talk about the bench, but any one of those starting 5 guys can be the one that goes off that night. And tonight it was Pascal Siakam.
It's fun because when you see a guy like that, it was so much question when he got, because the Knicks did not step up. So Ashley and Zeke, when you look at this shot chart, this is what we like to show people. Mix it up, couple threes in the paint, get to the free throw line, make sure your offensive game shows variety.
And what he's given Indiana, you know, in this trade, right, 3D, is he's given them a mid-range post player that can control tempo. So the way their offense is set up, right, they pass, move, cut, move, and then when they need to slow it down, right, they can throw it in the mid-range, and he can post up in the mid-range, he can get to the basket, he can get to the foul line, but he's not necessarily just a three-point shooter, but can he make three-point shots? But his specialty is mid-range, mid-post, footwork, so forth and so on. Now, what Brunson is to the Knicks in terms of mid-range post player, that's what Siakam is to the Pacers.
The versatility just proves to be so dominant. 39 points for Pascal Siakam. Well, let's go ahead and hear from Knicks head coach Tom Thibodeau after this one.